Hello, guys. My name is Sergey Melnikov, and in the beginning of my policy speech, I want to ask you a question. And my question is how many of you guys like to go into history class? And yeah, try imagine that 50% of you told that we like to go into history class, and 50% of you told that no, we don't like it. And yeah, it's fine, it's your opinion. Uh, but I think that there is one really important thing in history, um, and I think is history truth. And what I mean, like today, I'm gonna tell you about history truth, like why it is important to remember about some really important history facts. And mostly, especially, I will talk about Second World War. And also, I will tell you guys how some countries in modern Europe and also Ukraine try to forget about history truth, and they try to make their own fake history. And let's I think it's really interesting theme. And yeah, let's start. And firstly, I want to tell you a fact about it's according to BBC News. Uh, and yeah, Ukraine, thousands of nationalists march in Kiev in honor for Bandera. Actually, maybe some of you don't know who is Bandera, and I think 90% of you don't know who is it. But guys who live in Russia and uh, some countries which was in USSR, they know who this guy. And I will try to explain you simply who this guy was. And it's kind of Hitler, but Hitler wasn't in Germany, and Bandera uh, was in Ukraine. But actually, no. Actually, he was born in Poland, but he's a Ukrainian guy. And why it's why I think this fact, which I will read you, really important, because some countries, especially Ukraine, how I read you, try to forget about really important facts, like that Ukraine was in USSR, like in the duration of Second World War, and we together fight against fascist Germany, against Nazis like Belarus, Kazakhstan, Russia, Ukraine, and other countries. All of these countries take some part to defeat the Hitler army. And when I read this, I have a question. Like, I asked myself how it's happened, because Second World War finished only 75 years ago, and we still have a lot of veterans of this war. Of course, they're not so young. All of them older than 90. But I just want to say that history, people nowadays forget about true history really, really fast. I think 75 years, it's not too much. And which we see in Ukraine now, I will continue explaining you it. An estimated 2,050 turned out for a Ukrainian nationalist march on Tuesday to mark the birthday of the World War II anti-Soviet leader Stepan Bandera, who was a fascist. And Um, I don't know how it and how it's happened, but now we can see a lot of facts of this, that real heroes that uh, defeat Hitler, that real veterans of Second World War, people in Ukraine try to forget about them. Of course, not all people. I know that in Ukraine, a lot of good guys who remember the true history, but government try to make all that people forget about it. Like they create a fake heroes like Bandera and Shukhevich also. You can Google this guy. It's not too hard to find information about them. Uh, yeah, and it's so strange, um, and it's frustrated, I think, because I saw that in this march of nationalists in Kiev was a lot of old guys too, like people older than 60, and it's strange why they were there, and I don't know. Okay, the next fact, it's related with monuments. Um, a lot of monuments for Russian soldiers and Russian leaders, right? Like Marshal Konev, for example, his monument was destroyed by Praga uh, government maybe 10 days ago, and it's not once example when monuments for Soviet soldiers and leaders defeated crashed in some Eastern Europe countries, and it's strange too because if I remember right, in 1944, Praga, like Soviet soldiers going to Praga and saved them from the Nazis, and the same situation was with Poland actually, and you can see all my citations in my outline. I will not tell you now about it. Like all information which I say to you now, it's all in my outline, and you can read it if you want. So okay, continue. Let's continue. Yeah, and Poland, like Czechia is sometimes it's happening in Czechia, but not too much. Of course, it's really stupid how I think that government try to crash monuments, but in Czechia it's still not a lot of cases, and I really like that it's not so much cases. But in Poland, if I remember it right, in 2014, like by the 2014, uh, 500 monuments for Russian soldiers was destroyed in Poland by Poland's government, and it's kind of strange too because the biggest fascist camp, which is called Oswiecim, was located in Poland, and a lot of Jewish were shot or dead or just executed in this camp. And now, when Poland government try explain to the Poland citizens that oh no, that's it was kind of Soviet occupation or something like this, um, I don't know. I try to understand how just for 75 years people can forget about real history facts, and they create their own uh, fake heroes of the war. They create their own fake history, create kind of Soviet occupation, and it's just strange why these governments do this. I don't know. So strange, and in my opinion, it's so stupid. Also, yeah, just one more example that uh, in July of 2017, one more monument for Russian soldiers was destroyed in Poland, and it just to prove. And also, how I said before, you can see all my citations in my outline. And finally, in the end of my speech, I want to also tell you about in some countries, especially, yeah, I will tell again about Ukraine. And Ukraine government create a law, real law, which against this thing. Maybe some of you don't know what is it. Okay, it's fine. I will explain you. It's kind of symbol of victory in the Second World War, and in Russia and Kazakhstan, Belarus, and other countries that still try fight against fake history. This is a symbol of victory in these countries, and I think it's true. But Ukraine, it's called St. George Ribbon, and Ukrainian government create a law. I will read you. So according to this article, the amount of the fine for using, displaying of or wearing the St. George ribbon is up to $96 in national currency equivalent. Like, just try imagine that veteran of Second World War will go to the parade of victory, which is celebrate in May 9, and he will go with this symbol of victory. Some police officer can go to him and say, okay, man, you can wear this because it's a symbol of occupation, or I don't know, something like this. Okay, yeah, and this police officer will go to this old man and just say to him, you can't wear it. And as for me, it's not stupid. It's more than just a stupid. It's unrespectful. It's unrespectful movements to veterans, which defeats the fascism, nationalists, and save a lot of countries like Czechoslovakia, Poland, Austria, of course Germany too, because I know a lot of people in Germany don't want to be a fascist, and they were happy when the Soviets said them. And so what I wanted to say in the end, I want to say again, in my opinion, it is a fundamental thing to remember the history. Because, okay, our generation, guys which around 20 now, when we growing, we still got a chance to see a real World War II veterans, and we got a chance to speak with them about the war, about the real facts, because they saw it, they was in for example in Germany or in Soviets, and they can explain some hard moments which are clear for us. But for example, our children, uh, it, they will have not this option to 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 discuss with the real veterans, and I think it will be kind of problem, a real big problem, because we started to forget about uh, real war, real fact of this of the war, and it's really um, I think it's a really dangerous situation, because if we forget about it, our children, next generation, I mean, this situation can happen again, like war and something like this. Camps like Oswestry, for example, will appear again, and uh, it is so dangerous, I think. Again, yeah, and yeah. Finally, I wanted to say you just remember the history. Just pay attention for some fundamental facts of history, and yeah, that's it. So be happy and be safe in this hard time, and see you next time. Thank you for watching.